Hey, 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 happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Live, a time I connect with you every Monday, 7 p.m. EST, to really align biblical principles with your entrepreneurial journey. Always beyond blessed and excited to be here with you. So I'm being rogue tonight. I'm actually live on Instagram at the same time. So I'll look over here a couple times, not much. I'm going to encourage my IG watchers, those of you that are coming over on IG, to come on over to YouTube so that you can see the slides that I'm going to put up in a few minutes. So as you're coming in, you guys know the drill. Those of you that are here week after week, tell me name and where you are joining from. And if, as I share, something I say resonates with you, I want to know. Give me some hearts, give me some fire emojis. If you have questions as I share, please type them in the chat. Now, again, going rogue tonight, trying to do IG Live at the same time. I probably will miss most of the comments on IG Live. So I'm encouraging my IGers to come on over to my YouTube channel so I don't miss any of your comments. Okay, again, the YouTube channel is nrjnetwork.com. All right, so tonight I'm continuing with the series I started a couple weeks ago. Hey, Kim and Aldi. I started a series a couple weeks ago called Master the Marketplace, right? And really what Master the Marketplace is, and what my goal is to talk to you and walk you through the 10 commandments of doing business the way God intended. Now, think about what a commandment is, why God created the 10 commandments. See, the 10 commandments are a general rule intended to regulate behavior or thought. And the thing that's interesting is many entrepreneurs do not even think about is, well, let me just say it like this first. What do you think regulates your behavior or your thoughts? Things that are happening to you, around you, right? And so you've got to understand your business happens in an environment. And so that is really what we're talking about. So if you've been with me in any of my programs, any of my clients, you've ever been on any of my live trainings, you know that I talk about the 4 systems that you need in your business to be successful. You see it there on the screen. IGers, come on over to YouTube because you won't see the slides, right? In order for you to be able to have a sales system and a back end system, a tribe building system, even your purpose system, which I call a blueprint, you've got to understand that there is an atmosphere all around you. Listen, I remember, I say this to my clients all the time, your business can never and will never outgrow you. So if you're not clear on what's happening around you, that's stopping or hindering or holding up your progress, you will stay right where you are. And I'm allergic to average. I don't do mediocre, I don't do average, I don't do easy, I don't do ordinary, I do extraordinary. If you're going to go after your extraordinary, you got to understand the environment that you are doing what you do in. Again, as you guys are coming in, say hello. As my grandmother would say, don't walk in this house and not speak. Well, you're in my virtual house tonight, all right? So quick review. And by the way, if you missed part 1 or part 2, that also is on my YouTube channel. nrjnetwork.com is my YouTube channel. So again, I'm walking through the 10 commandments. So commandment number 1, you must say yes to your calling. To go and listen to that insight, go on over to the YouTube channel. And number 2, which I did 2 weeks ago, was last week I took a little time off. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Again, you can go watch previous episodes on my YouTube channel so you can catch up. Okay, because I'm not going to go through what I talked about in commandment number 1 or commandment number 2, right? I feel like these are God's entrepreneurial commandments. So now we're going to go into commandment number 3, which is you must be a servant leader. Okay. Now, if I'm going to keep it all the way real, I really think I should have said it's service over sales. Service over sales. And what so many entrepreneurs do is focus on what do I need to sell? What do I need to sell? Because I want to make money. Now, listen, a good CEO is going to have revenue goals. You are. You would be a horrible CEO if you didn't have revenue goals. You just would, right? So you've got to understand you have to have revenue goals if you're going to have a successful business. I get that. But when you realize that God created you to be an answer, be the answer to a group of people that need you, then instead you focus on what do I need to sell, what do I need to sell, what do I need to sell? What if you then begin to realize that if you put numbers about the number of people whose lives or businesses, whatever it is that you do, transform because you do what you do? That's service over sales. And when you serve all that need you, oh, you go make sales. Now, if you've been around me, you've been on any of my lives before, you heard me talk about profit. The word profit means to gain. So God gave you a gift for it to gain for the kingdom here on earth, but also gain for you. So when you do the thing that transform the people that need you, God's give back to you is that revenue. Y'all with me? So I'm not saying don't sell. But what I am saying is when you focus on transformation over sales, then you make more than you can even imagine. That's our conversation tonight is you've got to understand that you got to shift from sales mentality to serve mentality. And let me say this too. Many entrepreneurs that I meet have a hard time selling. And I'll tell you the truth, I had a hard time selling too. When I began to realize that really what I'm doing is offering you transformation, the transformation that you need, then I don't feel like I'm serving anymore. Excuse me, I don't feel like I'm selling anymore. I now feel like I'm serving because I make an invitation and you get to choose, and I'm inviting you to transform your business or your purpose into a business. Y'all get that? It's all and how you shift, how you look at it, but that has to do with the atmosphere that your business is in. And so many people, so many coaches focus on revenue, 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 revenue. And I'm not saying you shouldn't make money, but your money should be attached to your service. So let's dig into this conversation. I look forward to hearing what you say about this and what you have insight. If I step on your toes, by the way, if couple things I forgot to ask you to do at the beginning. Hey, Linda, tell us where you are in the world. Number one, if what I'm saying is good to you, then first of all, like it. And I ask you to like it. Not, I'm not trying to grow my followers, but what I am trying to do is stay in the algorithm so other people will see this video, this insight, right? Number one. Number two, if it's good, then share it. If I give you some aha moments, of a nugget or two jumps out for you, then share it. Share it. I see I'm getting some waves over on IG Live. Hey y'all, hey. So let me just tell my IG livers, I'm gonna look mostly over here. So if you want to see the slides, come on over to my YouTube channel, nrjnetwork.com. All right. So with that, let's get into the meat of this. Here's the Bible verse, first one, 1 Peter 4:10. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Now, a couple words stick out here for me: minister and steward. Now, I did look up the word steward, but what I want you to do is know that God has given us gifts to because we're responsible. Stewardship ultimately is responsibility. Okay. So, a couple words here I want to make sure you understand. What is service? Service is contribution to the welfare of others. And by the way, these are Webster's dictionary definitions that I'm walking through. Service, again, this is about service over sales, is contribution to the welfare of others. Ministry. So many people think, oh, well, I'm not a minister and I don't have ministry. Yes, you do. Ministry is a person or thing through which something is accomplished. Are you a person or thing through which God wants to accomplish something? Hello, then you have ministry. So if you didn't think you had ministry, then don't say you didn't know, because you do. All right. So here's the thing that's interesting. The Greek word for ministry is diakoneo. I'm probably messing it up. Diakoneo. And please, if anybody wants to phonetically tell me, because I'm hooked on phonics and I know I'm saying that word wrong, hello. But the Greek word for ministry means to serve. Isn't that deep? hmm So what I'm going to walk you through in the next 20 minutes or so is the 4 traits of a servant leader. We hear servant leadership all the time, but have you really stopped to think about what is a true servant leader? How do you lead with a servant's heart? Which, by the way, David is a great example of that in the Bible. If you want a real great example, but I'm gonna give you some other examples. Okay, so you ready? Y'all got your pen out? Here's number one. The first trait of a servant leader is you got to know that it's not about you. The focus isn't on you. It's on every person that needs you. Your focus isn't even on marketing. It's about how you allow people to see that you are their answer. Y'all get that? Mhm. So I need you to understand. Listen, here's a Bible verse here. John 13:34 that says, "A new commandment I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." You know what's interesting is if you think about that, God gave to us first. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. God gave to us first. God didn't even make it about himself. And you're so focused on sales. You're so focused on how much money can I make? How about how many people will shift because I'm doing the thing that I'm doing? How many people are waiting on you and you're holding up their answered prayer? It's not about you. Mhm. Another way to look at it. Now, this is a really long Bible verse. This is Philippians 2:5-8. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in very nature of God, did not consider equity with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. Being made in human likeness and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. So Jesus didn't even make it about himself. Listen, even if you read Bible stories about Jesus, when people are asking Jesus who he is and what he's doing, he never makes it about himself. He never walks around and says, I'm the son of God. Yes, I am the son of God. I imagine that's how it would sound if Jesus said that, right? Although so many people walk around, how many times have you guys heard people walking around listing out their titles and making it all about them and nobody cares about who you are? They want to know, what do I get? Again, that's transformation. So here are some examples of how Jesus served others. You ready? Give you some concrete examples. So number one, Jesus washed his disciples' feet. You can go, and I'm not going to read the Bible verses because I don't have that much time, but I'll give you the Bible verses to read. John 13:1-17. Jesus washed his disciples' feet. Tell me that's not servant leadership. Another example of how Jesus served is all the stories in the Bible where he fed crowds of people. Again, it wasn't about Jesus, it's about the people. So 6 times. Now, keep in mind that in the Bible, in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which are the Gospels, it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Each of them wrote stories, but they did it from their viewpoint. So it's interesting to read each of the stories in each of those versions. But in addition to those 4 stories that were repeated, Jesus rather, fed people at least 2 more times. So 6 times in the Bible, Jesus feeds people. Now, here's the thing that's interesting, y'all. Healing the sick, 42 times is mentioned in the Bible 42 times on different occasions. Now, here's my challenge to you: find the stories in the Bible where Jesus fed crowds of people, and find the stories in the Bible where Jesus healed the sick. Again, wasn't about Jesus. 9 times out of 10, when Jesus healed somebody, he was in the middle of doing something else and he got interrupted. Didn't make it about him. Feeding people, he was always doing something else, and people were hungry. He had to stop what he was doing to feed the people. Mhm. Last example is his death on the cross, point blank, period. Wasn't about himself. He died on the cross for us. And you're making what you do all about you. Yeah, I said it. And you're making what you do all about you. And it's not about you. Listen, I need you to understand this. If Jesus could come down here, serve us, well, first of all, God could allow his only begotten son to come down here to serve us that we might have everlasting life, that he might die on the cross, and you making it hard for you to start your business. So you making it all the excuses you make about not doing it now. Imagine if Jesus made all those excuses about not doing it now. Our lives wouldn't be transformed. So in the same way, who are you holding up? Number two, a servant leader doesn't seek to be seen. Oh my goodness, the number of people that are looking for a platform over purpose. that want to be seen and stand. Listen, stand so everybody can see who they be. Bible verse here, be sure, this is Matthew 6:11. Be sure you do not do good things in front of others just to be seen by them. If you do, you have no reward from your Father in heaven. God's not checking for your ego. He's not checking for you trying to make yourself be seen. He's checking for how you use your platform for good. Now, in order for you to grow your business, yes, you have to be seen. I need y'all to get this. But it's not just about Facebook likes. So I can say I got thousands of Facebook likes. So what? You can be Facebook famous and broke. You say that one more time. It's not just about having Facebook likes. The number of people that I meet that are Facebook famous and broke, and they're only broke because they're not thinking about transformation. They're trying to get likes to be seen. On the other token, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this is my problem. I forget to allow people to see what I'm up to. Why? Because I'm so head down in my transformation that I forget to post stuff on social media. I have the exact opposite issue. And I gotta my social media team gets on me all the time. I don't think about taking a picture. I'm not thinking about doing a video. Matter of fact, my social media team has to send me a list of videos to take because I don't think about it. And then I forget sometimes to do the list and I get in trouble. Why am I sharing that with you? Because I too am not focused on me. I'm focused on either the people I'm working with, the transformation that's happening. I'm not thinking about how I can post about it in social media. Not. What could happen if you took the focus off of you? If you had the humility, because that's really what it is as of a servant leader. What could happen if you really were humble enough to not focus on who is seeing you do what you do? Mhm. I want you to get this. A servant leader thinks no job is too small. I remember when I was working at First AME Church, 18,000 members, those of you that aren't familiar with First AME, and the governors would come. Actually, President Clinton came while I was a director of the Family Resource Center while I worked at First AME. I was starting a counseling center, a program for the community. So I was raising money, creating programs, all this fun stuff. And I was always on any given Sunday in pastor's office pouring orange juice, called myself the orange juice girl. And I remember when the governor for the state of California came, and I'm saying that because I wasn't beyond pouring orange juice for people. When the governor of the state of California was Gray Davis back then, came to church on Sunday, and the governor was asking Pastor Welfare to work had just come out, and he said it wasn't working. And what did my pastor think should be done? I'm pouring orange juice while he's asking the question. By the way, Pastor says, Nicole, what do you think should be done? I put my orange juice down. I was pouring. The governor looked at me like, "Oh, the orange juice girl, yeah." And I broke it all the way down. Do you know within a week I had a $500,000 grant? I'm sharing that because I think the reason why that grant got funded so quickly is because I was humble enough to be serving them, but then they realized how brilliant I was. See, a servant is always going to outshine somebody that's trying to be seen. So, what could shift for you if you stop focus on being seen? Next Bible verse here is Matthew 6:26. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? hmm Right? So I need y'all to get this. You have to understand that it's not about profiting for you. I said this a few minutes ago. It's about gaining for God. All right. So then let's move into number three because I'll keep talking, y'all, about this one. You got a servant leader focuses on giving value. Focuses on giving value. So how do you give value? How do you give value, y'all? Think about that. Think about, listen, I remember when I think about dating my husband, and I think about the fact that the reason you go on dates is because you're trying to get to know the person, right? You're looking at what value does that person bring. And it's only when you see the value that they bring and then you and vice versa that you continue in the relationship. Well, in the same vein as the CEO of your business, people are looking for how do you give value? And how do you allow people to see the value that you bring, which is their answer? Are y'all getting this? So it's not about just doing what you see everybody else doing on social media. It's about allowing people to really see how you can help them solve their problem. Proverbs 3:27 through 28. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due. when it is the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it. When you have it with you. Again, I meet so many entrepreneurs that say things like, oh, well, I can't do this now. And then everything they say after that is an excuse as to why they cannot start their business or why they can't help all the people that need them. Excuses like, oh, well, I can't afford it right now, or I'm going to wait till my kids graduate from college, or, oh, I want to lose weight. I said this on a live before. One of my clients told me she had to lose weight. And I'm like, you don't even sell, you're not a trainer. So who cares how much you weigh? I need you to understand God is not checking your bank account. He's not checking any of those things. He doesn't care. He's checking, will you be the answer to the group of people that are looking for you? Will you add value to someone's life? Or are you going to just stay in comfort and easy? And I talked about this on another one, so I'm not going to harp on that. But I need you guys to really get this. It's about caring about other people and realizing that you can serve them in a way that nobody else can do. Another Bible verse here, Mark 12:31. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. And by the way, the Proverbs one pretty much was saying this, that you should love your neighbor as yourself. So if you think about how you would serve yourself, why would you not serve someone in that same way? If God was willing to give Jesus as ransom pretty much to help us get saved, why would you not want to give to someone that you can also equally transform them? The thing I think is so interesting is when God made each of us, he made us in his likeness. So that means that we're little pieces of God walking around in the earth, little pieces. So each of us have a little part to play bringing kingdom here on earth. That part to play is a transformation that somebody's looking for. Are y'all getting this? Are you getting the servant heart piece to this? Number 4 is inclusive and encourages diversity. And I had to put this in here because, so many companies are getting rid of their D&I initiatives. See, I need you to understand that God leaves no one out. He doesn't say, oh, well, we're going to save some people and not others. Oh, I'm going to choose a few of you to be saved. No, no, no. God chooses all of us. He chooses all of us. Are y'all getting this? So believe everybody's of value. So you look at either the clients that you serve, even the people that you have on your team, even the people that, even if you're serving at your church, or you're doing a volunteer, or you're serving some volunteer organization, everybody has value. The greatest lessons that I've learned are from people that are totally different from me. We pick our friends. Our friends are usually similar to us. They might have similar viewpoints and similar likes. But when we start working with people that are diverse bring different perspectives to the table. And when you allow that difference, it teaches you and expands your own insight and intellect. But so many of us want to only do what we know, only sit in comfort, only understand who is around us, and we only want people that are like us around us. Well, how do we grow if we only choose people that are just like us? You want to be people that are strong where you're weak, and vice versa. And sometimes that strength means that they're going to be totally different from you. Mhm. Example here is a woman with issue of blood. Women with the issue of blood. Now, I'm not going to read this story because it's long, so you can go read it in Matthew 9:20 through 22. The reason I'm bringing it up here is back then, when you're bleeding, first of all, you're not supposed to come out of the house, number one. This woman had been bleeding for, I believe it was like 38 years. So this wasn't a quick thing. She'd been bleeding for a long time. Okay. And what she did in that moment was against the rule of the land, but she knew, I've got to get to Jesus. Now, Jesus could have said, wait a minute, you ain't supposed to be out here. Wait a minute, stop, hold on, girl. What you doing? What she did, she said, listen, if I can just touch the hem of his garment. She's like, I'm not even going to try to fight through the crowd. I'm just going to try to get my hand through the crowd and just touch him. Now, she shouldn't have been touching Jesus, let alone out in the open. But what Jesus did in that moment was he applauded her diversity. He said, go, your faith has made you well. He did not say, "Oh, you shouldn't be here. Why are you touching me?" N- He didn't say, "Arrest her," like some would have in that day. He said, "Go, your faith has made you well." Servant leadership at its best. So that's our conversation for tonight, y'all. Mhm. Is how can you, and I really want you to think about this, if you could shift from a sales mentality to a serve mentality, how your business will shift because of the transformation that will happen. And when transformation happens, profit happens. And if you don't know how to ask for the sale, that's a different issue. That has nothing to do with you having a servant heart. That has to do with you not knowing your value. Come on, somebody. And so, commandment number 3 in our Master the Marketplace series is you must have a servant's heart, or you must be a servant leader. So I would love to hear your insight as we begin to close. IG live. I can't say I'm gonna do this every week, but I'm gonna invite you to come on over to our YouTube channel so you can watch it every week. Those of you here, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, number one, tell me the value you got. Whether you're watching me live or you come back and watch the replay. Number two, if this was valuable to you, please share it. Again, I don't ask you to share it because I'm trying to grow my reach, but what I am trying to do is be the answer I'm created to be in this world. I'm trying to do the transformation God created me to do and be. And the only way I can get to the people, more and more people, is help from people like you. All right. So with that said, that's it for this week. I'll be back next week in as we go into part 4. We got 10 to go, y'all. So we got 6 more to go. No, actually, 7 more to go. I'll be back next week to do part 4. If you missed any of our episodes, go nrjnetwork.com. So commandment number 3 is you must be a servant leader. All right. So with that said, y'all have a phenomenal rest of your Monday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.